Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we are in Paso Robles, California with the one and only Dan Dix of Press for Truth. And I figured us Canucks being down here, it's good timing for us to kind of talk about what's happening in Canada with the cannabis market. And as government, legalizes, quote unquote, it's not an end to prohibition, of course, as we know. It's become a massive monopoly. It's like the government is trying to completely take over the industry like they have with alcohol and tobacco, etc. And obviously the cannabis industry is an incredibly important industry for people with health issues, for people that want to get to sleep at night, and for people who just want to have fun and lay back and listen to some music, right? So Dan, I wanted to ask you a little bit about what do you think the motive of the Trudeau government was in legalizing cannabis?
Well, I think first and foremost it's probably profit driven. I think they see a market here that they can capitalize on and monopolize. But I think it's twofold. I think on top of the amount of money they seek to make, it's also about being in bed with Big Pharma, because we know that this plant does miracle wonders in the medicinal fields, and they know that this is a threat to their industries. So if they can control that by altering the genetics of the plant, by irradiating it and things of that nature, they'll be able to maintain a sick population with them just continuing to get high, which they are okay with. So I think it's twofold. I think it has to do with our health, and I think it has to do with monopolizing an industry so they can capitalize and cash in.
Well, and it seemed like it was one of the major issues that got Justin Trudeau elected in the first place was, nice hair and cannabis. And this is obviously a huge problem. Most of us can see that. But, I'm watching a lot of people that were in the cannabis industry suddenly turning into capitalists in this situation, because they're like, well, these raids are still happening. People are still getting arrested. It's basically the government took away your right and then gave it back at a price, and that price being extortion, regulations, taxes, etc. How do you think it's been affecting a lot of the small business and mom and pop shops in the cannabis industry?
Well, it's been bad. A lot of people are realizing they've been bamboozled. It was a complete ruse. Trudeau was riding in on this ticket, knowing that this is what the Canadian people want. Meanwhile, once this actually is being implemented, the small mom and pops are starting to see, wait a minute, this isn't what we wanted at all. They're being completely pushed out of the market. So we're being told it's a free and fair open market. They even say in Ontario they're going to allow private businesses to operate. But what they don't tell you is those private businesses can't sell their own cannabis. It's still going to have to be the government-issued cannabis. So legalization, in a nutshell, is a Trojan horse of how to rope us into even more ridiculous laws, like the driving laws, all sorts of things that they wouldn't have been able to do without this law. So they're capitalizing on it, they're taking away the medicinal benefits, and they're going to use it to control us even more than we already were.
And we're seeing, even with alcohol, for example, you got massive cartels in Canada for alcohol, very government-oriented alcohol industry. And then you go down to the United States, for example, and you go and buy the same drink, and it's like half the price of in Canada. It's because government, they have no incentive to compete. So it's like, well, let's just raise the price dramatically. And we're seeing that in the cannabis industry. They're running out of cannabis in a lot of the stores really fast. And then at the same time, the price is going up because it's not free market anymore. It's government run. And one of the things that really stood out to me, Dan, was looking at the cannabis laws. Imagine, you give a youth cannabis, it's like it can be up to 14 years in prison. Now, where do you draw the line? So what if someone's 17 and a half and you're 18 and you sell your friend, the 17 and a half year old friend, cannabis? Can you go to jail for up to 14 years? It's just, how is this in any way more free? Does it seem like freedom to you?
It absolutely is not. There are in fact more restrictions on Canadians now because of this. And look, legalization is obviously a move in the right direction as far as ending prohibition, but the amount of things they've been able to sneak in there, like, for instance, driving impaired. Look, if you smoke a joint and you are a high consumer, you smoke a lot, one joint doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot. Even after a few hours, you're totally fine. You're not impaired. But according to the law, you need to let at least 30 days pass. You can't have anything in your system. So essentially, Canadians are going to be driving around high all the time, according to the law. So, and now what I heard is the latest. They're going to now be allowed, I just heard this, to take DNA roadside mouth swabbings without any need for the smell of cannabis. They don't need a reason anymore. They can just take anyone's DNA on the side of the road because of this law. There's a good example.
You know what, Dan? We talked about that very real possibility years ago. Yep. I remember having a conversation with you on a video, we can look into that after, where we talked about that very thing being a real possibility. And here we are in 2018 going into 2019, and we are seeing exactly what we were concerned about in the first place. It just seems like it's more prohibition, it's more government, it's more... and for them to say, will allow you to do things. Like, for example, in Manitoba, Canada, we got the Conservative Premier, who, by the way, raised taxes 18% after the Socialist NDP left office. That's a great promotion for government. Anyway, what happened was, it's like, well, we don't want cannabis in our neighborhood, so you know what we're going to do? You can't smoke it on the street. You can't smoke it on patios. We're going to ban all forms of smoking on patios. You can only do it at your home, but if you're renting an apartment, you're basically screwed, and you have to have it in your backyard or something. I mean, the rules and regulations pile so high that people are just kind of going, you know what, I don't really care. You know, I've been breaking the law all these years. I'm not magically gonna, just stop doing what I'm doing because I'm afraid that the government's gonna throw me in jail with the extra prohibition that they've added on top of everything today. So, Dan, what can people do to spread awareness of this issue? As so many people are still going to jail. People are getting raided. The businesses are getting destroyed by the government because they can't compete against government behemoth that takes tax dollars. What can people do to spread awareness of this issue and explain to people that this isn't the legalization we wanted?
Right now, the main thing people need to do is support the mom and pops and support the people who are involved in the industry and who are putting themselves out there on the front of the lines and being pioneers for this industry. And you need to support people like that. There's an organization that's been set up. It's called the CGC. It's the Cannabis Growers of Canada Association, and this is. Think of it of like a lobbying group who is going to go up against the government to represent the mom and pops. Those are the types of organizations we need to support moving forward. Organizations that believe in true, free, open, and fair markets. That's what we need to do moving forward. So I would suggest people check out the Cannabis Growers of Canada, CGC, cannagrowers.ca is the website. Support the people who have been building this industry over the last few decades before the government completely wipes it away from all of us.
Absolutely. We've been able to talk with Chad Jacket, of course, as well on our channel, and it's very interesting when you hear from people that are, the mom and pops, the farmers, the people that are really, they're cultivators, these people that are producing this product.
And they're family people. They're not like Hell's Angels. They're not gangs. They're not criminals. What it's painted to be. They're family people. They're good, honest. Chad's a Christian man. He's a family man. This isn't gangs and Hell's Angels. This is good, honest people trying to make the world a better place.
Absolutely, and they are making the world a better place. And the government, of course, as per usual, is not doing quite the opposite. So I thank you for going into this with us, Dan. Just let everyone know where they can find more of your work. As if you somehow haven't subscribed to Press for Truth, just let them know.
Well, yeah, if you're not there yet, check us out on YouTube. Just type in Press for Truth. You'll find it there. We're trying to hit that 200,000 subscriber mark while we're here in Paso Robles. So if you're not subscribed yet, please do so.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to talking with you more. We have a few days coming up where we're going to be talking to a lot of interesting people here in Paso Robles, California, and enjoying the nice weather while people in Canada look at us in awe and wish that they were out of the snow. But it's nice. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we'll be back at you with much more. Taxation is theft. Always remember that, folks. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and Dan Dix signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth. Be the change. Like what you see here, OM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so vastly demonetized and censored on YouTube, as these guys come in and flag all of our content as hate speech. Also, check out our Bitcoin address below as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also check us out at steemit.com. We're at Josh Sigurdson. It's a future of social media where you get paid in the upvote of your post in cryptocurrency. Steem, that is. So make sure to check us out there. Make sure to join us at Anarchapulco 2019 with people like Ron Paul, G. Edward Griffin, of course, Jeff Berwick, Vid Jedlicka. So many incredible speakers are going to be speaking. It's just a massively growing event. It is something you have to see to believe. So make sure to check it out below and save money on your tickets by using promo code WHAM, that's WAM, and I hope to see you there. Also, check out our newsletter as we are getting demonetized and censored and all that. We don't know what comes next, so we have an email, worldalternativemedia@gmail.com. Send us an email with subject line YES, YES, and we will include you in the newsletter where we will continuously keep you updated. So until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Bye.